What's going on, my friends? Welcome back to another Ratchet and Clank Talking Head. How are we doing today? Today we will be discussing online capabilities in the next Ratchet and Clank game. Will we see it? Can we see it? What's the likelihood of that? And to what extent? What exactly is that going to look like? And if it were to happen, what can we imagine to see? If you were to ask me just a few weeks ago, last month, are we going to see online in the next Ratchet and Clank game? I would have said, no, probably not. Why? But something recently has come to my attention to make me think otherwise. 'Twas an interview with Shawn Layden before he left Sony. He acknowledged that the PS4 didn't really have a lot of multiplayer online first-party games, and that they want to change that in the coming years, with the PS5. So immediately I think of Ratchet, because he specifically mentions about first-party studios. So let's take a look. If you remember, a few weeks ago at the Game Awards, they announced the very first confirmed PlayStation 5 game, Godfall, which is a 1 to 3 player online game. Interesting there. And as we know, The Last of Us Part 2 doesn't have any multiplayer, but Naughty Dog said that they really do. I don't think it's confirmed that it's happening, but I'm sure it will, that there's going to be a Last of Us specifically online game for the PS5. So already, Shawn Layden has said that, and now we already see 2 PS5 games that are going to be focused on online. Isn't that interesting? So I know Shawn Layden left Sony a little while ago, and you might be thinking, just because he left, so what he said doesn't matter, but it's not necessarily true. He speaks for the whole company, so just because he said it and he's gone doesn't mean it's out. It's, been talked about within the company for a while, I'm sure. And as we can see again, it is kind of coming true with Godfall and the Last of Us multiplayer game. He even specifically mentions how the family-friendly feature, the family engagement with the online games, and Ratchet and Clank is kind of like a family game. I know the last game was a little more family-oriented than we would have hoped. But I mean that still kind of puts it, in this category, in this limelight, you might think of it, having online capabilities next, potentially. We also have to look at Insomniac's past when they go onto new consoles, specifically the PS3. Going on to that, I learned that in their GDC talk, that they wanted to include online in the next Ratchet and Clank game, but it didn't happen because the PS3 had really funky, the cell processor, and it was just a lot to do, and technology is evil, so it didn't happen. But as far back as the first Ratchet and Clank game, they've been so ambitious with their Ratchet and Clank titles. They've always wanted to push the new hardware, PS2, PS3, and they kind of did it with the PS4 graphically anyways. They just want to push the hardware as far as they can. They have a history of showing that they want to do that. So now moving on to the PS5, same architecture as the PS4, they already have a PS4 game to kind of work from, a bunch of assets. They've had, the PS4 game took about 10 months for them to make. Assuming that they didn't start anything with the next Ratchet game until Spider-Man came out, and assuming that the earliest it would come out would be at the launch of the PS5, that's over 2 years. That's like a lot of time. That's plenty of time for them to, make this game a lot of pretty big, and I kind of want to do a separate video on that specifically, actually, if I get a chance to. Going more in depth on, on a broader sense what we can expect from the next Ratchet game, but one of the things that's maybe, they're spending extra time with could be online. And again, they are a first-party studio now, so, they would get, they have a lot more money now. They made a pretty good deal, I'm sure, with Sony, and they get priority now since they're first party. They have the same technology. They got a technological advantage. They always have that motivation and desire to just push everything as far as they can. There's a lot of reasons to believe we might actually see something online in the next Ratchet, not to mention that they've done it before with some other titles. So let's transition to the second half of this video. The other titles, they've done it before, what can we expect? Looking at the other titles, can we get a hint from that? So you might be worried or thinking that, oh no, we don't want them to do another online game. They already did that with All for One, Full Frontal Assault. It was focused on online. We don't want a repeat of that. Hey, they moved the frickin', I gotta move my... What? Okay, I'm not covering them anymore. We'll just go over in our original place. Okay, so think about it, right? The 2016 game was a reboot of the series, and, it did so well that they're gonna make another one, obviously. Shawn Layden, it's kind of basically confirmed, as if you haven't seen my video talking about the next game basically happening, check that out, obviously. So, it did so well, and it practically greenlit another game to happen. Why would they go straight into a spin-off after rebooting it like that? That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be an online exclusive game or encouraged. It'll probably just be a feature, or it'll be like what we're watching here, Because when I think about it, there's two ways it could go. It could be cooperative or it could be competitive. What I was suggesting us to not worry about was it to be cooperative. Because if it's a cooperative game, they kind of have to change the formula pretty significantly for it to kind of work out. I know Deadlocked is probably the best example where it's, you know, you can play the story cooperatively and it's really kind of a single player game, but that game is kind of technically a spin-off. You know, most of the areas are like big arenas. It's kind of made to be played with other people and, you know, arenas. But traditional Ratchet and Clank is a lot more linear, a lot more tighter paths. Like imagine the 2016 game with 2 Ratchets running around. It would be a little overwhelming for the enemies and for the players. So as much as I prefer cooperative because I do enjoy playing the games through with another person, I really don't think that's going to happen. That kind of strays into spin-off territory, which they're definitely not going to do. You know, maybe you know, they could do some Insomniac twist and they could really make it happen. Let's say maybe Let's say maybe Clank can jump off Ratchet's back at any time and run around. Maybe he gets his weapons from Secret Agent Clank, or maybe you can just have like a Clank POV and you can shoot lasers from behind Ratchet like the Clank Zapper from Going Commando, but you can control it as a second player. I don't know, I'm just spewing ideas. Maybe at the very least, it's like Super Mario Galaxy and the second player can just like have a cursor to like collect bolts or something. I don't know. I'm trying to imagine how it could work because I want it to work, because I want it to, but I don't really believe it would. So cooperative play, I don't see it happening. As much as I wanted to, I wouldn't count on it. Now competitive play, which is what we're watching here, that is a lot more likely, and this is what I would expect if, you know, it was announced to have online. I would expect it to be more along the lines of this, if not something completely new somehow, but it would probably again be along the terms of a cooperative. But again, it would probably be along the lines of competitive like this. So what exactly would we see if it was competitive like this? Would it be like team deathmatches or like capture the flag kind of thing? Capture the bases, the nodes like this? King of the Hill, something that they've done before? Would it be something new? Maybe like a infected zombie mode? I'm just into those. I don't know. I know that's kind of like a big thing right now with like PUBG and the new Call of Duty, I guess, can do that. Where it's like, let's say like 5 players versus 1 player who's the zombie, infects 1, now it's 4 versus 2. And you know, you just gotta like stay alive, something like that. I don't know how that would work in Ratchet and Clank, but I like that kind of game mode. You know, maybe it could work competitive or cooperatively if we kind of go back to the last talking head I did about an open world Ratchet and Clank game. If you haven't checked that out, I'll link it below. Definitely want to check that out. Maybe if it's a big kind of open world more type of game, you'll see some kind of competitive play or cooperative play. Maybe something along the lines of Death Stranding or like Journey, where you kind of like see the marks of other players, or at the very least, maybe there's like a hub that all the players can go to, and you'll like see like what is it, Splatoon 2, right? You know, they have like the little lobby area where you can see other players, something like that at least. I know a lot of people are like so-and-so about Death Stranding. I personally really love it. My personal favorite thing about it is the online about it, where you see the marks of other players all over the place, and it helps you out. I would love to see something like that in a Ratchet and Clank game if it was, you know, an open world experience, as we discussed before. I think I even touched on it in that video slightly, but that would be a cool thing to, you know, touch on for cooperative play. But competitively, I would like to imagine they would come up with some new modes, probably reuse at least the usual ones. Maybe even bigger lobbies. Okay, you know what I'm forgetting to talk about. You know what I need to talk about? I'm sure we're all thinking of going into this. I might even clickbait it with the title or something, but Battle Royale. Ratchet and Clank Battle Royale. Will it happen? Is it the most likely thing to happen? Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say it is. Do I want it? A little bit, to be honest, just so I can prove I'm the best. I'm gonna be the ninja of Ratchet and Clank Battle Royale. I'm calling it right now. All right. Just a warning: if the next Ratchet and Clank game has a battle royale, this is gonna become a Ratchet and Clank battle royale YouTube channel. I'm kidding. Please subscribe. It won't unless you subscribe, unless you wanted to, and subscribe too. But a battle royale type of situation, I think it would work pretty well with Ratchet and Clank. You know, I got all these crazy weapons. Maybe instead of, you know, the different like tiers of weapons and them being the different colors, it would just be the different versions, the levels of the weapons. Like you can get like the lava gun right here, but you can also get the liquid nitrogen gun, which is, you know, just the better version, not the meteor gun. Because I believe that it was one of the Wired articles about the PS5. They said something about being able to do like huge Theoretically, you could do like 1,000-player battle royale things. I don't think they would do that, but you know, the concept is there. You know, the idea of it happening at all is there. You know, you could have like all these vehicles in the map too. The what are they called? The charge boots, the hover boots, hover bikes, hover boards, all the fun stuff. I don't know. Let me know if you agree, disagree with the battle royale thing. I know a lot of people are just gonna be biased about it anyways, because Fortnite is a thing. But let me know your thoughts about that specifically. But yeah, I really just wanted to, you know, get it out there that I'm not calling the next game having online, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but if it did, I'd be like, all right, saw that one coming. But I'm not necessarily expecting it. I'm expecting more from the next game. Again, I want to do a separate video about that specifically. But online, maybe I could be very high potential thing. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about all this. A Ratchet and Clank online thing, I really think it could happen. Sean Layden saying that they want to draw more focus towards that on the PS5, and we're already seeing, you know, things about that happening. Godfall, Last of Us game, Insomniac's big first party. They have a lot of reasons to do something like that. You know, family friendly. Online is usually typically about like family friendly, you know, co-op, couch co-op kind of deals. There's just a lot of things that just kind of, you know, fit, that make me want to think, yeah, this might happen. So anyways, yeah, let me know your thoughts about all this. If you haven't clicked off by now, you totally can now. I just want to take a moment to do a bit of updates about the channel and stuff, just because, real quick. But if you haven't watched my Death Stranding video, I played the whole game beginning to end, and it took me like, it was like a 50-hour playthrough. I condensed the whole thing down to 30 minutes. And I really like that format. That was kind of a weird example because it was such a long game. But I kind of want to keep doing that for games. It gives me an excuse to play all the way through them, and I can just, you know what, condense it down to something really digestible. So if you haven't watched that, please watch that. Warning for spoilers towards like the last 12 minutes of it. But yeah, I kind of want to keep doing that. Let me know if you're okay with more of that. I got Luigi's Mansion 3 for Christmas. I got the new Ice Age game for Christmas. I got the Outer Worlds. I got Borderlands 3, which I might be doing with Christian soon. Also doing something else with him, as well as the same thing with somebody else coming soon. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I got plenty more of these planned. I got some other special Ratchet and Clank stuff planned. I kind of want to dive into like some Sly Cooper maybe, or maybe some Jack and Daxter. Those are my other two, you know, the part of the big three for me. But yeah, I don't know. We'll do that. We'll do that eventually. Also, I kind of wish I included this earlier, but if you didn't know, I streamed the Game Awards, and I had some people watching, and it was my favorite stream I've ever done. The best. Thank you all to join that. You can still watch the VOD, I think, if it's not blocked in your country because of the live performances. But I will be doing another stream, so again, make sure you do have the bell on so you know when I stream. I don't stream really regularly. I don't stream at all, only on occasion. I stream here on YouTube, maybe on Twitch if I want to do some just whatever stuff. You can follow my Twitch, it should be linked below all my videos. But the PS5 event, which is rumored to be February, what, 12th or 20th or something? But I'll be streaming that the day they announce that date. I'm requesting that day off of work, and I'm going to be right here. We're going to be streaming it, looking out for any Ratchet and Clank news. I think it's pretty probable it'll be announced there. If they're announcing games, they might not even be doing games there. That might be E3. But E3, we'll be here for E3 too, doing a live stream, looking out for Ratchet and Clank, because I know it's going to happen at one of those two things. I know it well. I almost want to guarantee it. But you know what? You know what I will guarantee? We'll hear something in 2020. I can guarantee that one, that's for sure. But yeah, that PS5 event, we'll be streaming that. E3, we'll be streaming that. One of those two will have a Ratchet and Clank announcement, I'm super sure. So be here for that. It'll be a great time. If you do watch the Game Awards one, I know the volume was kind of weird. That is fixed. I know how to fix that now. That'll be better for the future. I made this video like 7 minutes longer than it needs to be now, so I'm gonna leave. Thank you for your time, everyone. I love you all. I'll see you soon. Peace.